said Charles was led away.
Oh, but
in handcuffs.
okay, the confusion is understandable because it could have been Spike Lee who was led away yesterday in handcuffs.
Yeah, he was removed, but I don't think in handcuffs. That would have made for video that I don't think any of us would have forgotten.
No, but as the video was, don't you remember that Charles Oakley being surrounded by security and being like they were being physical with him, throwing him out of the paint?
Yeah, but certainly his arms were not behind his back in a handcuff.
The idea that we would put handcuffs on Charles Oakley to remove him from the arena is laughable.
It's amazing that we're joined by the Knicks.
You are in character. I want you to stay there.
Best friend.
I want you to stay there and find your places in character. I love the idea of you speaking on behalf of the Knicks.
So you're trying to identify the most embarrassing thing to happen to the Knicks over the last decade?
Is it the Carmelo stuff? Is it the fact that they went from 3-0 down in a series to 3-1, won their first playoff game in God knows how long, and filled the world's most famous arena with confetti?
It could be Phil Jackson.
Phil Jackson by himself. That's absolutely Phil Jackson falling asleep on a bus. Joakim Noah showing up at Phil Jackson's house and him giving him a contract.
Durant and Kyrie Irving choosing New York but going to Brooklyn. I mean,
good God, think about this. The only time trading Porzingis,
Taj Gibson.
We're trading Porzingis while Max Kellerman is out here saying the Mavericks will absolutely win one title and maybe several more.
I mean, have you seen the season he's having?
I mean, yeah, Doncic is pretty good, though. Like, that's helping there. It helps when Porzingis is number 2 instead of your number 1. That's something that makes you a good deal stronger, as you saw what he was with the Knicks. But I cannot talk enough about Knicks' embarrassment.
What was he with the Knicks? Was he all-decade?
Ooh, good question.
All right, thank you for asking that question. What is their all-decade team? This is going to be funny.
Stugotz, have you seen this yet? Do you want to guess? Could we do it that way maybe? Do you have an idea?
I have no idea. I was trying to think.
ESPN.
Well, Carmelo has to be on there, right? Carmelo?
He is.
Okay. So I'm trying to think who the coach would be.
I actually don't have a coach.
Mike Woodson. It's got to be Mike Woodson.
Would he?
That's
Really?
right. Mike Woodson's face never changed. That's
All
right.
right.
And there was that one time. Wait a minute. We didn't even talk about embarrassment. Didn't he shave his eyebrows one time and you didn't have eyebrows? Or does he just not have eyebrows?
He did that.
Yeah.
He said that he just wanted a fresh start.
It's as fresh as it gets.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Hold on.
was certainly something
no,
to that
this is
effect.
too long a list. You guys need to now put this all down on paper for me so that I can ask the audience, so that I can just give them a dozen most embarrassing things for the Knicks
But
in
I
the
don't want
last
to get it
decade.
twisted, though. He might have done that when he was with the Hawks. That specific embarrassment might not have been on the Knicks.
The idea that we would have a coach with no eyebrows and that happened on our watch and not the Hawks' watch is just laughable.
Is Jeremy Lin, which is the best thing that's happened to the Knicks over the last decade, is Jeremy Lin going to be on the all-decade team for 2 weeks?
They have a starting lineup and then an honorable mention starting lineup. He is the point guard on the honorable mention lineup.
For 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
For 2
It was glorious.
Gets you an honorable mention.
Guys, we can spend the whole show here doing this. We come back with Stugotz's all-decade team for the Knicks. And what happened to this Jurgen Klopp sound I was getting to?
Pay that man his money.
If you have questions about issues going on related to your vehicle, Advance Auto Parts is going to have most of the answers, if not all of them. Tell them, Stugotz.
Yep, spring is your chance to make your lawn look like the perfectly trimmed work of art you watch your favorite team run across on TV. But before you get to work, make sure you can get to work. Advance Auto Parts will test your lawn and garden battery for free. If it needs to be replaced, grab an Autocraft lawn and garden battery starting at just $22.99. Plus, enter the code DAN20 when you buy online to save 20%. Think ahead. Think Advance. Only at Advance Auto Parts.
We achieve greatness by accident a majority of the time.
Come on, you two. It's sideline reporting.
O'Donnell worked in a freaking with you on a, what did he
You
work
just
in?
got scared, didn't you? You just got scared.
It was a
of it.
rocking with you on a Wednesday on a Sunday.
He did that, O'Donnell
That's
did.
hard. Degree of difficulty. Saying rocking, go sit in the penalty box for 2 minutes, Chris, for stumbling around over there and just not knowing your own catchphrase. Yes, just awful.
That's a good point. It is his catchphrase.
It is. It's his catchphrase, and he just botched it. And then, leaking confidence, turned to Antonio. What's my catchphrase?
There's a lot of rocking and
Get out of
freaking
here. that I've been promising you, and before we get to Stugotz's all-decade Knicks team, because this was a funny conversation during the break, Stugotz couldn't come up with a shooting guard. Mike Ryan said, I've got a shooting guard for you. It's obvious, but it's also funny. So we will get to that in a second, maybe. I need to understand, though, Chris, why it is. Like, what was the context? Right before the microphones went on, you, for some reason, shouted at everyone at the room, would you prefer to know when you're going to die or how you're going to die? Put it on the poll, Guillermo, at Le Batard Show. Would you prefer to know when you're going to die or how you're going to die? I don't understand. Why did you do that?
Well, we got on the topic of midlife crisis, and Roy was saying he somehow thinks he's never going to have one. I'm like, Roy, that's what they all say. Yeah. And then we just somehow ended, it divulged into... I was saying, would you want to know when you're going to die? And then it turned into, wait, would you want to know when you're going to die or how you're going to die if you could only know one? And there it is. That's how it happened. Midlife crises. We were looking at a picture of Boog, and then we asked about midlife.
Crises.
Okay.
Oh, well, wait a minute. There's a little piece of, there's a little bit of information.
That was important, by the way.
That was an important detail you left out. Now let's try to tell the story again and answer my question honestly. Explain to me what happened. A picture of Boog?
We're looking at pictures of Boog.
I said that I've noticed Boog has been putting a lot of pictures of himself lately, and I was like...
I recognize this. He's getting into shoes. He's feeling himself a little bit. He's looking good. Oh, yeah, I went through this last year. That's a midlife crisis if I've ever seen one.
Mike, you're too young for that.
Yeah, man. It happens. You go to Europe, you start buying shoes. Next thing you know, Boog's going to be posting a picture of like a full sleeve. I'm telling you.
And at which point, Roy said he would never have a midlife crisis, and then it just turned into, how do you want to die?
Boog's going to post a picture of him driving around in a Corvette. Like your dad.
Exactly. Yeah. Next thing you know, there's going to be like a daily motivational quote. I'm telling you, I've seen this happen before.
This is why no one comes on this show.
You find yourself on those soccer trips. I'm just saying.
So this is the backstory. I'm glad I asked you. Now,
one second you're watching a game at Anfield, the next second you're buying a Tesla. This is just how it works.
Yep. That never gets to your house.
The audience didn't get to hear the conversation where Chris Cody said, well, I've got this solved here. If I'm told that how I'm going to die is I'm going to die on a mountain, I'm just never going to go near a mountain, to which I said, you're going to crash into one in an airplane.
Right. I was trying to explain to him, listen, when your time's up, your time is up. Like, you'll find the mountain somehow. Or Dan had him in an airplane.
The mountain will find you. So we were like, what if it's a shark attack? I'll just avoid the water. Guess who's smiling by the fake jaws at Universal Studios, and all of a sudden there's a horrific accident where it falls off and crushes you.
I don't think you have found a loophole on how to answer this question, and I think it's a wonderful question to ask.
And Tony was saying he wants to know, he'd be cool knowing when, because then he could just plan things out. I'm like, what if it said 44? It's like you're 20-something now. It's like, wow, I only have like 18 years left, whatever.
Live like you were dying.
Yeah.
What if it's while you're looking at your phone right now? Like, what if you're
5 minutes?
You're going to die now.
That would be terrible.
Yes, of course. You'd rather not know. I think most people would answer this question. I really do think with neither. Don't tell me. Don't tell me
but
when
you
I'm
have to choose one. I mean,
don't tell me when to die. Don't tell me how to die.
But you're taking the fun out of the game by doing that. Neither is not an option.
Fair enough. Okay, I didn't realize that the game was such rigid rules.
It's a fun game. We're talking death.
It's a very dangerous game.
Nah, I'll find out when I get there.
So what do you think? All right, let's go. You have to answer the question. When or how?
Wow.
I want to go how. I want to know how. Tell me how I'm dying. See, and if it says just like peacefully in your sleep, then I can assume it's, I got some years to live.
Right. I don't know. Who wants to know when? I mean, that's a slow walk to your death.
No, but it's so tough because what if how is while doing a sports radio show?
See ya.
But wait a minute.
I'd be going out doing exactly what it is I want to do.
Wait a minute.
That'd be good.
You can't change this, though, then, right? So, like, if you know how you're going to die, like, a shark's going to kill you, right? And they could be, like, a fake shark or whatever, but somehow a shark is going to kill you, right? You can't avoid the shark killing you. So if you know when you're going to die, you can't die before then also, right? So you could be really reckless because I have 20 years, so I know, hey, I'm going to be standing on this motorcycle. I'm not going to wear a helmet. And guess what? I'm not going to die.
I'd become like the greatest daredevil of all time.
And you could become paralyzed.
Imagine what Nick Wallenda would do.
But if I'm paralyzed, how's the shark going to get me?
That's a good point.
That is a good point. A lot to think about here.
It really is. It's a wonderful question.
Or you find out, hey, guess what? A shark's going to kill me. I'm Nick Wallenda. Today's the day I'm dying. How's this shark going to come out of this volcano? You know what I mean? Not that Nick Wallenda's dying today. Let me rephrase that completely. That was not how that was supposed to come out at all.
Faith. I think I'd like to know when I'm going to die because I sort of romanticize the idea of like living like you were dying. When you're on a countdown clock, imagine all the life experiences. Like I could go skydiving or Rocky Mountain climbing. Go like
Roy brings up a point though. Like Roy does bring up
Manchu.
a point. Like you might be risking paralysis, and that's
totally
a
trampled my bed. Just totally trampled my
But
bed.
Mike, what if God forbid it says you're going to die in like a week? What if it says a week though, like or 2 days or a month? I don't want to know that.
Well, then you just love deeper and speak sweeter and give forgiveness to those that you've been denying. Someday I hope you get the chance to live like you were dying.
Do you have more, or is that it?
No, thank you guys for letting me go through that smoothly.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Would have been one of my best hits.
It was right there for you. It was our fault. You couldn't have just kept it moving. Interrupting you was a problem.
Clogging the lane. I'm like
Ad-lib,
LeBron.
man.
I need shooters on the outside.
Really? Is that what you need? I didn't realize you were calling for the ball there.
You're
I thought
just Eddie Curry.
I thought you
were
could
running-
work around what we were doing there.
You were running a play that
I was running a play, and then just Eddie Curry's there, just like.
Wait, why is it Eddie Curry?
Where the
Look at
You're Eddie Curry. You're Eddie Curry.
I don't know if you know this, but we're kind of a big deal.
I dreamed that I was on my last show, on the Batard show, my farewell show.
This might be it.
Where it could be, where you allow me to say that I'm retiring when in fact you've privately fired me. And guess who's singing my outro song? Jimmy Buffett is in the studio singing Lovely Cruise, and that's how I go out. It's been a lovely cruise.
Please give me.
I am shocked to the point of weeping when all of a sudden, we've got a special guest to sing farewell for you, and Jimmy Buffett comes in.
And he walks through the door of the tiny room with a guitar.
Yeah, and it's not the entire Coral Reefer band, but he's not alone.